Don't hesitate to go forward on this video to watch this wrap as I go. It'd probably be best if you go through the video once and then come back, because there's little tricks that you need to know about. So anyway, first thing we want to do is determine where we want to wrap. I don't like to go over bulges and stuff like that. You want it to kind of make a nice constant diameter as you wrap. So and then the other thing is you want to go over the heat shields if you can. Most of the time you can go right over the heat shields and it makes the pipes look a lot fatter. If you take the heat shields off, there's little teeny pipes in them and they look terrible. So these are really cool pipes. These are road burners. They're really nice because they're one constant diameter, so don't need to worry about going over little parts of heat shields and all that. And then at the end of the video I'm going to show you some other bikes that we've done, so it'll give you some ideas. But anyway, let's get started on this. Okay, first of all, wet your wrap. I leave it in a bucket of water maybe 5 or 10 minutes and then just let it drip dry. And then now what I want to do is I want to start right here in the back. I like to go from back to front. There's some brackets here, so I can't go past these brackets, so that's a perfect place to wrap from there forward. So I'll go ahead and get started here. Take your wrap out of the bucket and let's get going. Okay, I've looped this wrap around a couple of times like this. It's a little easier to get started for me to do it this way. So what I do, I wrap that around like that. Okay, then it's real simple to get started. All you do is you just take this bottom piece and you just kind of tuck it under there. I'm trying to do this with the camera here, so if I can do that, you can do it easily. The camera's right in front of me, so what you want to do is you want to kind of get that started in there like that. Now, you can always grab that and wrap that around there a little bit once you kind of get it started so that that seam is back behind the pipe. And then you just kind of want to start wrapping and kind of doing your overlaps. Now make sure at first you start nice and even and you don't get wrinkles or anything to start with. Okay, let's do that and then I'll show you how we continue on. Okay, I've wrapped a little ways here. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pull that kind of tight there. Now what do you just very carefully take that and fold it underneath. Make sure you don't twist it. Then you pull that through. It seems a little time consuming at first because you got to pull all that wrap off the floor each time. Pulling the wrap off the floor here so you can see that. One thing, you notice I have gloves on too. That'll really be nice because this stuff's fiberglass, so it's real sticky. So I wear gloves. And then being creative as I am, I try to I'm always experimenting. So this tape, I actually sprayed it with some brown Rust-Oleum heat paint at first. Just kind of went down through the center of each of the wraps, or just right down the center, and then left the edges kind of black. So I'm always experimenting, trying to get different looks. So don't be afraid to experiment a little bit. Okay, and there you go. I got to wrap that around there. Make sure that's nice and tight. And now I'm not gonna overlap this too tight here. I'm gonna leave a little space here because I've got a long way to go and I don't want to run out of tape. So make sure you pull it really tight. Make sure you don't get it twisted. And make sure you don't wrap behind something behind the pipe. Each time, just feel underneath there. Make sure you didn't twist it. Let's keep going. Okay, whenever I come to an obstacle like this, you can always just feed the tape either behind it or in front of that. So go ahead and feed the tape up through a big opening you've got somewhere. And then you can feed it back in there after you get it pulled through. So go ahead and do that and then keep on going. If you'll notice here by the running board, and where the pipe makes the bend, I've had to do a little closer overlaps. Make sure you look on the underside of the running board and make sure that you haven't missed an area of the pipe or some chrome is showing. And then make sure again that you feel around there. Make sure you haven't doubled the wrap over. And then make sure also that you don't wrap around like a brake rod or something. I did that one time. I had a brake rod that I actually wrapped over the brake rod in the back, and then I had to start all over. So be careful, and then let's keep going. I'm up almost to the little brake reservoir there. We've got some little openings there, but we can still just go around those, no problem. Okay, I've made it up to the motor now. You don't need to get too close to the head bolts there. If you get too close, you never had to take your pipes off. You'd never get those nuts off there. So anyway, okay, what I've done is I've snipped this off right here. I want that end to end up on the underside of the pipe there. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap that under, and then I'm going to show you how to do the wire ties. Okay, the way I do these wire ties is loop them around the wrap. Make sure you got the little bump side up. If you don't, then you're going to have to redo it or cut one off and start all over. So anyway, wrap that around, and then you can either, what I do is I just pull them really tight. You can even grab some pliers here if you want with this and pull that really tight like that, and then as you're pulling on it, bend it around like that. That way it'll keep it a little bit tighter. And then what you do, just take the wire cutters. I give about 1 inch or so there. I give it a real good score there, and then you can really give it a good little mark, and then you can just kind of bend it a few times and it should break right off. Okay, now you've got a real sharp edge here, so let's go ahead and bend that over again. I just bend it a little bit there with my fingers. Just double it over like that. Go ahead and squeeze that bend. And then just kind of bend it over like that. I just tap it a few times with pliers. That way you don't have a real sharp edge there. If you're ever working on your bike, you won't cut yourself. And then just go ahead and rotate them around to the back side so you can't see them. And there you have it. Now these don't have to be, they don't have to be super tight. Just tight enough to hold that wrap on there. Once you start and run this bike for a while, it'll be fine. So anyway, there we have it. I've wrapped both top and bottom of the... Now what I did is I put two clamps on top. So I'll show you that one. We'll pan around here and show the finished product. Okay, there you have it. These pipes came out really nice. I love this wrap. I'll have to see what it looks like when it dries with that little bit of a brown tint to it from the paint. So anyway, I'm going to pan down on this and show you. I just put single wire ties there, and then I did the double wire ties up the top. Actually, these are smaller ones we had, so you may want to put 2 up there. Obviously, it's not going anywhere on the back. And then when you start the bike, they'll stink like crazy for a while. If you start them when they're wet, they'll steam and stuff, but don't worry about the smell. They'll eventually go away. They do kind of have a stink to them. So anyway, there you have it. Just makes the bike look tough, doesn't it? Let's go to the conclusion, and I think this bobber's finished up. Awesome. These are some other bikes that we did some wrap on them. This is the black wrap, and what I did in this one, I actually just painted them with a black Rust-Oleum barbecue black first, and I'm hoping that the black will stay blacker longer that way. So there's one example. Here's another idea we had. This is the tan wrap, and we kind of went over it with some reduced black paint, just kind of rubbed it on the outside after we had it on there. That kind of looks nasty. It doesn't look quite so much like an ace bandage, because the tan sometimes looks a little bit too clean, you know. There's even more so. This is a tan wrap again. We really went all out on that one. It just really made it nasty looking. Then there's what the black looks like with a little bit of time on it. This bike has some time on it. It's really cool though, because it just makes it look old and kind of really rustic. So anyway, there's just some ideas on the wrap. So let's get this bad boy on the road.